Hello, good morning. It is time for our daily affirmation and discovery of our intention through mindful journaling. I'm Catherine Chestnut. I'm super glad you're here. And let's get going. Make sure you've got your journal and something to write with. And before we get started, I like to do a little bit of grounding and getting more centered and in the moment. So first, let's take any watches that we have on off, put that to the side. And then let's do some breath work. I like to close my eyes for just a few minutes while I'm doing that breath work so I can focus on being centered and in this moment, present 100%. All right, let's take a few deep breaths. Let's breathe in. And let's hold that breath right here at the top. And release. And let's breathe in again. And hold here at the top. And release. And one more time. And release. Wonderful. All right. So if this is your first time being here, we're going to be doing some journaling in a way that may be completely new to you, something that you've never done before. And just go with me on the journey. Trust me on this one, because this is a form of mindful journaling that I was taught over 20 years ago. I didn't call it that then. It was just journaling or non-dominant hand journaling. But the reason that we journal this way is because we cut through all the crap like that. We get past all the shoulda, coulda, wouldas immediately and really get down to what is real and true for us in our gut. It's a more connected form of journaling. And I know that there are people that like to say, oh, you should be journaling 30 minutes or an hour every day. And I say that's a load of hooey, because you can actually get what you need in just a few minutes this way. Now, make sure you've got your journal, and I'll show you an example. So here's an example from last week, and you can see we're going to start by writing the date. And I'm going to do that right now. Today is August 4th. So I want you to write the date with your non-dominant hand. And yes, it's going to be messy. It's going to look like you're 3 years old, right? There it is. There's mine. That's fine. We start that way because we are sending a signal to our inner wisdom inside, and we're saying, hey, we're listening, and we're opening up this channel to hear what you have to tell us. So that is why we start that way. And then we continue. And what I like to do is I have a number of different resources that I use when I am journaling to prompt my journaling, because I just can't do gratitude journaling every day. I wrote a whole blog about that. I think I've done a couple videos about it, but I can't, because I get bored. I mean, to say the very least. And then it becomes a chore. And I don't want my journaling to be a chore. I want it to be something that is maybe not joyful, but just very mindful and in the moment instead of me rolling my eyes as I'm going through the process. So every day when I'm journaling, I'm pulling something from one of the tools that I use, whether that be an oracle deck or my book or another book. I have a number of resources that I use. And today, when I was prepping for the call, and I do that by meditating, some breath work, a little bit of tapping, and then I ask, what is it that you and I need to consider when we're getting ready to discover our intention for the week? And this week, what came up for me was to use my book, Inner Affirmation Inspirations, which you can get on Amazon or my website. And I like to just flip through the pages because there's 365 inspirations and mindful journaling prompts in here. So there's a bunch. And I just do this until one pops up for me. And today, the one that popped up for me was number 365, which is, I am glad to be alive. So just hang tight there for a moment. I'm going to read the inspiration for you, and then we're going to journal. You are mindful of the beauty and wonder that surrounds you, and you take time to appreciate the simple pleasures of life. You are motivated to make the most of each day, knowing that life is precious and fleeting. You are grateful for all experiences, both good and bad, that have shaped you into the person that you are today. You choose to live with a positive attitude, knowing that life is what you make of it. As you cherish each moment, your life will continue to be filled with joy and purpose. All right. Well, that's an interesting prompt for today. I like it. So then what I want you, and if anything came up for you while I was reading that, just pop that right in the chat. And I would be interested to know if anything kind of jumped out for you. I'm reading this and going, this is a reminder that what I'm doing on Friday, which is getting a hip replacement, it's pretty major surgery, but people apparently breeze right through it. And I am looking forward to after the surgery. But in the meantime, I'm really glad to be here. I'm glad of every day. And that's what this reminds me of. So the prompt for the day is, how do I make the most of this precious gift of life? How do I make the most of this precious gift of life? Now, what you're going to do is you are going to write this with your non-dominant hand. And I'm going to show you what mine looks like. Here in just a second, because I'm writing it down. There we go. So here's mine right there. So you're going to write this prompt with your non-dominant hand, just like always. And then you're going to start journaling. Just start journaling. And you can journal words or phrases or sentences. It doesn't matter. There's no wrong here. There's no wrong or right way. It's just what comes up for you. So be extremely mindful. And you don't really have much of a choice when you're journaling this way. You will be incredibly mindful while you're journaling this way. So just keep writing. A word comes into your mind, Write it down. Don't be trying to think ahead. That's not the point. It's going to be messy. It's going to be gobbledygook, but you're going to get exactly what you need from it. Now, I'm going to play some music and I want you to journal. And when we're finished, we'll come back and we'll talk about it. And we'll pull what our mindful prompt is for the day from our writing. If you have questions, just put them in the chat and I will answer them as we go along. All right, here we go. right. So what came up for you during your journaling? You can see here, this is what I got, mine. And what I want you to do next is to look at what you wrote and discover the one thing that you want to be incredibly intentional about this week. One thing. And then you're going to write it down with your dominant hand on a piece of paper. So you can see here, mine is I share my joy and appreciation and love of life. That is my intention this week. Yours is going to be different because your writing is different. So feel free to put yours in the comments. I can't wait to see it. And I won't be here next week. And I'm going to be starting a new, different kind of live session soon. So keep your eyes open for that. Don't forget to hit subscribe.